Hello, friends, and welcome to the Tuesday Night Live show for October 12th, 2021. Tonight's show is brought to you by StuffForSanta.com, SchoolOfSantas.com, and Sleigh Driver Apparel Company. And our special guest this week is Santa Joel Lagrone, who will be joining us from Keller, Texas, just up the street from me. So everyone stick with us because we're coming right back after this message. Welcome back, everyone. It's great to be with you tonight. As always, I'm Santa Bob McMasters, and at this time, let's welcome my co-host, Santa Barry Cummins.
Hey, good to be with y'all tonight. Hope everybody's having a wonderful start to their week. Got an exciting show for you tonight, so we're excited.
And say hello to our producer, Elf Angela, to the show. She's back on screen tonight. Well, guys, our Tuesday Night Live show has 2 weeks left. I know the season's winding down, and we're sad. We're going to miss doing this show. We've come to become a big part of our lives, but we'll be back next season, the second week in January. So we're looking forward to next year. 2022 is going to be a great year. Next week is our Halloween show, and if you're going to participate in the costume contest and come on live with us here in the studio, please contact me or Barry as soon as you can. We need to get your name enrolled into the contestants list, and over to Barry from here.
All right, everyone. Reach up there, give us a like, share our stream to help build the viewership of this show. We appreciate your time. We know you have a choice with your time on Tuesday nights. Thank you for being with us. Now it's time for a little Tuesday Night Live trivia. All right, here we go. This question's maybe a little bit easier than we had last week. So here we go. Who recorded Rocking Around the Christmas Tree in 1958, and at what age was this person at that time? Who recorded Rocking Around the Christmas Tree in 1958, and what age was this person at the time? See if anybody chimes in.
That's right. And remember, this is sponsored by Sleigh Driver Apparel Company, and you will receive a prize, a gift from Derek Dugan if you get the first correct answer. Scott Parker, I'm telling you, man, you're right on top of it, aren't you? You already knew that answer. You didn't have to look it up. I know you. Very good, Scott. So you'll get, I'll get Derek your mailing address, and he'll get that out to you tomorrow. I think it's going to be a cappuccino cup again. I'm not real sure, but again, thank you for playing along, everyone. That was a quick and easy one. Don't forget, we have a second trivia question midway through the show that is sponsored by StuffForSanta.com, so stick around for that. All right, Barry.
All right, we're going to show Derek's commercial, and we'll get started. please welcome tonight's special guest to the Tuesday Night Live show from Keller, Texas, Santa Joe Lagrone, best known as Santa JoJo. Welcome, Santa JoJo.
Hi, brother. Just so everyone knows, we are having a little bit of lag between our comments tonight. So stick with us, and we're going to try to work our way through this.
Are you with us there, Joel?
I am here.
All right. Shoot,
Very
Bob.
good. All right, Joel. So I'm going to take the first question tonight. Welcome, by the way, brother. Texas State Santa, Lone Star Santa here in the North Texas area. We always start off with this question. What year did you don the red suit for the first time? And tell us about that experience if you can.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on the show, Bob and Santa Barry and Angela as well. It's a pleasure to be here from Keller. And back in 2018, I was actually in a production of The Little Mermaid where I had a fairly sizable beard and was singing at the Rangers. And my friend online, Darla Bicknell, heard me sing and asked the question if I had ever thought about being Santa. And we chatted, and I went to some of the Lone Star Santa meetings with her, and then decided there in the summer of 2018 that I would try and be Santa that year. And of course, she had some arrangements lined up that I could participate in, which was helpful. But the very first time I went out, after I committed, had my hair done, found a suit, and was ready to go, I already had 3 or 4 things booked and got a call out the 1st of November. And there were some people in the area who, through a mutual they knew through the mutual connection that I sang and that I was going to be Santa. And so they asked me if I wouldn't come help lead them in carols as they sang to a friend that was in hospice and would not get to see Christmas. And so November 10th, 2018, I donned the suit. Thankfully, it was 32 degrees outside. We went to a neighborhood in the Colony, and I led 100 people up the street and into the driveway of a woman that was in hospice. And I got all the way up to the top where her window was, and then turned around, and all she saw were her friends. And we sang Christmas carols to her, and then we left. She passed away 2 weeks later, but it was a sweet time, you could tell. It was all she could take for us to be there, but it was such a sweet time. And on the way out, so many people said, "Thank you for doing this." And I said, "Thank you, because if this is what Santa means, I'm all for it. I'm in." It blessed me just immeasurably.
Yeah, those type of things that you do really pull at your heartstrings, in one way. But when it's all said and done, the satisfaction that you get from being able to be a small part of that, just really does your heart good. And that's such a great story. Love that story, Barry.
You know, you mentioned you worked with Darla Bicknell. She's known as Mrs. Claus Dallas. Can you share the impact and the importance of working with a Mrs. Claus?
Oh, absolutely. And of course, Darla is one of the best. Dare I say she's the best. She is for me. And coming in, she is a stage actress, similar to my background as a stage actor. And so we immediately had a good rapport together as husband and wife, even though we're not married. And what I loved about Darla was that she literally held my hand and led me through so many events. And under her breath, I can't tell you the number of times she just flat out coached me what to do. She said, now we're going to head this direction. We're going to do this. And I need you to be this way. And I'm good at taking cues from directors. And she was the perfect Mrs. Claus for me. For other folks, I think with their spouses involved, they're, as much as anything, the Mrs. Clauses, to me, add a legitimacy to Santa. I've taken Darla with me to places like Lockheed Martin, and it's not just about Santa. Santa's great, but when they see Mrs. Claus, I think it adds a true another level of legitimacy to Santa, and just helps that character be who he is so much more, because he's recognizable then as not just a solo person, but as a family guy as well.
I agree. And, you just get the total package with a Mrs. Claus. She can do so many things to elevate that visit or a gig to a whole nother level. And I got to agree with you. Of course, we're partial because we get to be around Darla and know Darla personally. But I've always said she's one of the top three, if not the top in the industry. She is really a very talented person, and you could not have found a better partner to learn from.
Absolutely.
Because she is so multi-talented. So,
and she keeps me in line too.
Well, yeah. Well, she keeps everybody in line, including Mark, her husband. So me being here in North Texas and seeing all the cool stuff that you and Darla get to do for Jerry and Jeans Jones, for those who don't know, the owners of the Dallas Cowboys, can you share some of the gigs and visits y'all have done for the Jones family, including the Cowboy events that you guys do each year?
Absolutely. That has been a pleasure, and that was one of the first events that I was able to work with Darla. And of course, they do three things as the family. One is they head up for the organization a children's party, and they do it at the Star, and they spare no expense. And that is nice then to see their entire Cowboys organization and the families therein come and just celebrate that Christmas time together. And they're off the clock, and it's the football players down to the HR people, down to everyone, and their children. And it's just a wonderful time, a wonderful atmosphere. We simply sit and take pictures with the children as part of that. But over time, I know Darla has done it enough to where she recognizes the children coming back, and I am beginning to do that as well. Another event we do for the family is to attend a ball game and to be in the owner's suite, again, to service their friends and the folks that are there in the owners. And we simply take pictures and socialize with the guests that are there for the ball game. We don't get to see the game. We don't get to go out on the field or any of that. It's just about them celebrating Christmas and then offering that opportunity for their friends. What's unique about the family is attending their Christmas. And that's the last thing we do. And I say it's unique because we all celebrate Christmas with our family to some degree. And sometimes we have lots of folks and sometimes we don't. The Jones family is very insular, and it is a particular group. But what's interesting about it is that they celebrate Christmas like you and I would, a family time together. They just happen to have 40 people there that are external to that are service people, including Santa and Mrs. Claus. They have a chorale that sings, and it is a sweet time. You can tell the difficulty, if you would, is being a wallflower and blending back into the wallpaper and being present when you need to be present. And because you are right there with them, but it's their time. And it really is a unique experience. And, after the first year, I told friends that asked, what was it like? I said, it was like being with my own family. They spoke to each other as family. Mr. Jones and Mrs. Jones, very generous and gracious with their family. but he told grandpa stories to his grandkids, and he teared up and cried as he shared how much he loved them. And it's like, that's just a beautiful, sweet time to see as an outsider looking in. It really is just wonderful people.
Yeah, the persona that the Joneses put out as the owners and all of the Dallas Cowboys. I got to ask you though. I know that you said you'd only been doing this since 2018, and I know that when Darla approached you about doing the Joneses stuff, that first gig that you done for Jerry and Gene, was you a bundle of nerves going into it?
Yes and no. I mean, it has been that way with almost every event still, because it's the box of chocolate routines, walking in to their house versus anyone else's house. Especially that first year, I had no idea what was going on. I didn't know what was going to happen. I hadn't been trained. Didn't have anything under my belt except my resume, which was a stage actor and a stage performer. And it's like, okay, here we go. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I know so many people always say, even after performing for years in front of live audiences, that sometimes leading right up to that moment when you start, your stomach kind of wants to make some noises, and you kind of get to be a little bit nervous at that point. But I think we all go through that. Right, Barry?
Yes.
Well, Joel, we see that you have a mechanical engineering degree with a math minor from Southern Methodist University, class of 1985.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your aerospace
Pony up, right?
career and the companies that you're employed by.
Well, this past June, I celebrated 40 years in the aerospace industry, and I was very blessed to come out of high school in El Paso and with some friends of mine that had made tracks ahead of me, and enter the engineering program at Southern Methodist under the auspice of their co-op program, which would actually place engineers into the industry. And I had a chance to work in the oil industry, dresser industries, and some of that, and chose aerospace instead. It appeared that the oil industry in the early 80s was turning to a negative degree. And anyway, I started working at Bell Helicopter, and from there, I think I counted up 15 different programs over the 40 years that I've been able to participate in, including the B-2 bomber, the F-22, the V-22, Boeing's 777, the A-12, the ill-fated A-12, and now the last 20 years have been basically working on the engineering staff at Lockheed Martin on the F-35, which is basically 3 aircraft in one. I've always worked in the design side, so I thought I would be an artist when I got out of high school because I drew all the time. And so I was able to put the technical skills. I had a high enough grade point, and like I said, managed to pull a math minor with the mechanical engineering, and ended up designing parts for primarily the systems in aircraft. And it has been a joyous career, mainly because of the flexibility of it all. And I've always had music and theater as an avocation. And surprisingly enough, that industry has been very supportive of that type work as well.
Well, Joel, do you have some things that's crossed over from your aerospace career that you can use for your Santa Claus portrayal?
I think so. I entered in a time where the early 80s, we were changing, we were morphing. The aerospace industry really had been a good old boys club. Most of the engineers I worked with at Bell Helicopter came out of Texas A&M, great institution and great people to work there. Most of the folks at General Dynamics at the time, as I understood, came out of Texas A&M as well. But the way aerospace worked at the time, a lot of the way you did things was by hollering. And I remember witnessing that firsthand. It seemed like the guys that could yell the loudest and swear the most got their way. And fortunately, we have become a more genteel type community. And not only with the advent of the change of the engineering base, but we've had to finesse the aircraft. There's not as much money to go around with the government contracts, and so you really have to be on your toes engineering wise. What I like about that is we've learned to communicate differently than just yelling and hollering and swearing at each other. And I know that sounds rough, and really it's a kind place, but now it really has changed over 40 years. And communication is the key to keep our costs down as much as anything. And I've always taken that part to heart when I run bands or when I'm in theater as well, getting as much information, because as an engineer, that's what we have to do. It's all detail oriented, but it's sorting through those details and coming up with the best product, if you would, from it. And so for Santa in there, it's not as readily applicable, but communication is the key. And it actually helps me on the organizational side as much as anything. My wife is a huge organizer, being a school teacher, and she has taught me a lot. But the engineering side, I know how to keep records, and that is very helpful. It's helpful for me in my calendarization and figuring out just how much I can do and when I need to back off as well. And then, talked about that first year, it really was an unknown going in, but I recognized again the importance of that communication. And so I'm very good to try and get as much information out of the clients as I possibly can, and so that they're not surprised as well. And I have been to some other folks that are associated with NFL organizations, and I remember one, I didn't communicate enough ahead of time. And when I got there, I'm talking to her on the phone. I said, "How are we going to do this?" And she said, "I don't know. We've never had a Santa before." I said, "Okay, well, I'll take care of the details, and just let me know if I run off track, and we'll go from there."
Well, Joel, I gotta say, man, you could have said anything but Texas A&M. That's kind of a sore subject with Barry right now.
Is it?
A&M beat Bama this week, and Barry's still upset over it. He's a huge Bama fan.
Right. And I forget that. Of course, I'm from the old Southwest Conference days, right? Love the Aggies, really did. And we loved everyone. I think Texas was the only one we hated, right?
Hey, they deserved it. They wanted on the field, and they wanted it more.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you graduating from SMU and been a Pony, and also funny stuff there. Okay, so Joel, let's take a short breather here because it's time in the Tuesday Night Live show that we always take a little break for special product announcements. So stay with us. We're coming back on the other side of this and continue our interview with you.
Very good.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Stop the show. Stop the show. It's time for the Tuesday Night Live Showstopper Special. For this week's StufForSanta.com Showstopper Special, we always travel out straight to the head clown at large and in charge, Spangle the Clown. Hey, Spangle, Daisy May, hi. You're muted.
You're muted, Spangle.
Can't hear you. Hey, the one in charge is right behind me.
That's correct. We know that is for sure.
Yeah. Hey, anyways, this week's Showstopper Special, we're going to do our coloring book the night before Christmas. They're $6 on our website, but what we're going to do, this is really cool. You can take this, read the story, and then when you get done, tell them next year you're going to read the colored version because you can leave the book with them for them to color. Got all kinds of really nice pictures in there. Anyways, if you go to our website, we're only going to promote these on this show this week. So go to the website. You order one, we're going to ship you 2. If you order 5, we'll ship you 10. We're going to double whatever order you order. Now, also, because there's a shipping on there, if you order today, we're going to throw in 2 more copies too. So if you ordered 5, we're going to give you 12 if you ordered today. StuffForSanta.com. Visit us there.
That is super cool, Spangle. Well, don't go away because we have our trivia question coming up with you. But first, let's do this real quick.
You're watching the Tuesday Night Live show with Bob Berry and Angela. Sponsored by StuffForSanta.com and SchoolOfSantas.com, where you can find everything you need to support your Santa and Mrs. Claus business. Remember, if Spangle ain't got it, it doesn't exist. So contact Spangle at StuffForSanta.com today. Now back to the show.
Oh, that gets me every time, man.
Yeah, that was. We talked yesterday on the Bob and Barry live preview show that we had something new tonight to show, and I was ashamed to tell everyone that it took me 9 hours to put that thing together, but it was all from scratch, and it was a ton of fun doing it. And I'm like you, I laugh every time I see it. So
I thought
okay,
the 2 cars were going to collide.
Michael.
Hey, trivia question. What we're going to do is we're giving out one of these. These are really cool. They're a leather-like business card case. Holds your business cards in there. Got a magnetic closure. Very cool. Looks nice and professional. Anyways, we all know me as Spangle the Clown, okay? But what the trivia is, what is Spangle's real middle name?
And, of course, this is sponsored by StuffForSanta.com and SchoolOfSantas.com. And so what is Spangle's real middle name? Not his performing name, but his real middle name.
And no, you can't call Daisy May like she suggested. So, Bob, I'll let you decide on how long it should go.
Well, let's get a couple of inputs here. See what we get from everyone. It takes a few moments to hit the keypad and get it typed in. So we'll let it run for just a moment.
Hey, did we tell them next week anybody that enters the contest, the Halloween contest, School of Santas is going to put their name in a hat and draw out a free scholarship just for competing.
That's right. That scholarship is for the Branson School of Santas 2022.
July 14th to the 17th.
The retail value of that, if you're just a laborer like me, you pay $349 for that 4-day class this year. 4 days still.
4 days. Yep.
4 days. And Spangle supplies all the lunch and dinners, 2 of the Branson shows. And, of course, if you stay at the host hotel, you get free breakfast and a nighttime snack, which is always fantastic.
And we have in-house entertainment, too.
Yep.
It's a party.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Daisy May knows how to throw a party.
She does. She does a good job at everything she does, doesn't she? Anybody got any guesses on the real Spangle's real middle name? Time's ticking. All I'm hearing is crickets. You know, where's my sound effects tonight?
Yeah, we thought for sure somebody would get this.
Yeah. Let's see here. Hang on a second. I got something for you here.
What did it say? There was something that popped up there for a second.
Yeah, it was Sue.
Oh. No, but I know a boy named Sue.
Winner.
Look at there, Spangle.
Yep. Got it.
What is Melissa going to do with a card holder?
Gonna put her cards in there.
Hey, yeah, and never can
Have
tell.
her private message you or me her address, and we will get it in the mail. Spangle's real middle name is Spangle's real name is Spangle the Clown. We told you the answer.
That is correct. Okay, Melissa, great job, girl. All right, then. Thank you, Spangle. Thank you, Daisy Mae. We appreciate you for everything that you do for the show, friendship, fun times we have together, and we'll talk to y'all after a while.
See ya.
Bye. All right, Joel, that's always fun. Kind of gives us a breather for a moment. So let's get back to the show. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a hoot and a holler every time you get him and Daisy Mae together. You shared that you have been a vocalist, guitarist, actor on stages since 1985 when you first married your beautiful wife, Dion. And tell us about all the different venues that you have sung our national anthem at, and how much fun is that for you?
Well, that has been an outcropping of another industry, if you would, that I created for myself, or that just happened upon me. The only education I have, if you will, is in the engineering. And when I was in high school, of course, I played a guitar and had in my mind that maybe I could be a rock star. And but instead, as life happens, you get the degree and you go to work and you start with a family. My wife and I met in Hearst and got married there and started our family in that area. Her dad was actually the mayor of Bedford for 20 years, where we lived. And anyway, we were at church one day and I had longer hair. It was dark and a beard. And I was approached about performing as Jesus in a musical, The Life of Christ. And 25 years later, I had performed in 12 different musical versions of The Life of Christ in state of Texas, state of Alabama, Washington State, and Georgia, as well as in Spain and Russia, traveling with different groups, different churches, and did over 650 performances in that role. And some of the outcropping of that was that I met folks from the Rangers organization, and they were at a show I was at. I said, well, how do you get to sing national anthem? And they told me the routine, and I actually went through an audition process, got to sing for a game at the ballpark, which is still my favorite place to have sung at. And it's just a wonderful stadium. It's a warm stadium. The trick there, though, is that you've got a full second delay on your voice. And so as you sing, if you listen to yourself, which most vocalists are actually trained to do, you will slow down and your pace will get too slow and you'll drag it out. And they have strict rules on the timing because of television. And I knew that going in. I had been coached by the same woman that told me about the auditions. And you just power through past the delay, get it under 80 seconds, and you're golden. Anyway, I started singing for them. And now 21 seasons later, I've sung not only the national anthem, but God Bless America and the Texas State song. And I've sung for 60 plus games for the Rangers. But I've also had opportunity then to sing for different organizations like Napa Auto Parts and some Veterans Affairs and some fire associations where they have national conventions. The ballpark is one of the most special places I've got to sing at. The Globe Life Field is actually a very nice venue, but they're still tweaking that. And I've only sung 2 different times there. And once was without a crowd, and it sounded perfect at that point. They were just videotaping it. I think it'll grow on me, but ballpark's always going to be the favorite. And then I have sung for the INS service, the immigration service, when people are naturalized as U.S. citizens. That is probably one of my favorite venues, to see the room filled with 1,000 people that get to take a pledge for this country and become a citizen. And it is something that you and I don't ever get to do. If we're already citizens here, they get to do something extra, and they pledge their allegiance literally to that. and singing the national anthem for them, I have never witnessed a more excited and thankful group to do that. And it was an honor to be in their presence as they became citizens of the U.S. And then one other venue, it wasn't about the venue itself, but it was the timing. I don't know if you know Don Graves. He was a former Marine in World War II, one of the Iwo Jima guys that's probably in that statue that we're used to seeing. And he's a local resident of Keller with me. And he is also one of the anthem singers that I know. And they still have him out for the Rangers ever so often. But he came out to Lockheed Martin along with several other older vets that were still living that had association with some of our aircraft. And I don't remember whether it was a B-24 or B-27 pilot that was there, but I was allowed to present national anthem to that group. And it wasn't so much, again, about the presentation. It was that there were men there who had fought for our country during World War II, that even though they were confined to wheelchairs, a lot of them, they still stood for the national anthem. And it was such an honor to be able to present in their presence there that I'll never forget it. It was just out on the shop floor at Lockheed Martin, very simple. And yet, and of course, Don Graves was singing along.
Yeah, those are so impactful with the seniors, and like you said, in wheelchairs and still stand. We see so many folks nowadays that have different feelings when it comes to the flag and what it stands for. Going back to those that are being naturalized, gosh, those people have worked so hard to become American citizens, and to get the honor of being able to do that for those folks, that's awful special also.
Yeah.
Okay, Barry.
Well, Joel, let's continue on your performance background. You've had a diverse list of things you've been so blessed to do. Tell us about the different Broadway musicals as well as the rock, pop, and contemporary Christian music you perform.
Sure. Well, because of the exposure of performing as Jesus, I actually ended up at different churches. And once the ministers of music would realize that I could play, and especially as the services began to contemporize and become more contemporary, I was invited to do a lot of pulpit fill as guitarist and vocalist and lead at churches. And a lot of that music was rock based, which is a favorite of mine. It's a personal thing. And so I go back to that high school time frame where I think I'd really like to be a rock star. And so start playing in garage bands. And I have a band at my work that does Chicago Blood, Sweat, and Tears, Leonard Skinner type covers. But that has been just a wonderful opportunity, because a lot of times we're able to share in a ministry opportunity. I remember playing for the Bedford Blues Fest, and with a group that we called Self-Righteous Brothers, because we were all ministers of music at the time playing together. And I remember one of the other lead vocalists saying, "What blues do we know?" I said, "It's rock music. It's all blues based. We'll just change it up a little bit." And sure enough, we did. And right in the middle of our 30-minute set that we had at Bedford Blues Fest, we told them who we were. It was on a Saturday night. We said, "Y'all are out here having a great time. We're having a great time with you. If you don't have a place to go worship on Sunday morning, come visit any of us at our churches." I said, "The music's a lot like this these days, and then you should enjoy yourself." And it was just a great opportunity to do that. And of course, with the being an actor and finding that skill, or God blessing me with that skill and opening that door performing as Jesus, at some point I decided, I need to see how the community theater works. I've learned so much participating. I need to see how the community theater works. And so since then, I've managed to be real involved for the last 10 years. And I have curtailed that now that Santa has started, but in productions of Broadway style musicals, King and I, Man of La Mancha, a production of The Little Mermaid, Wizard of Oz, and just had a blast. Music Man as well. Now, Music Man, I had to cut my hair and shave the beard, and it was a shocker for a lot of folks that knew me in the 25 years performing as Jesus. And King and I kind of the same thing, right? I went to real short hair and had no facial hair at all.
Goodness. So, Joel, I'm going to put you on the spot here, man. I hate to do this to you, but I know you're up to the for the task. Yesterday was your birthday, and we want to wish you a belated happy birthday and let everyone know that you got a new toy sitting beside you there. Could you play a few chords for us? Thank you. Like he froze up on us, didn't he?
Yeah, he is.
I may have to take him out and bring him back in if it doesn't clear up here in just a moment.
Yeah, he's on a Wi-Fi signal, so sometimes when you're on the Wi-Fi, it'll freeze up like that.
Yeah, it will.
Are we at the photographer question?
There we go. I can hear
No,
his audio.
I said I was going to put you on the spot and see. We was wishing you a happy birthday from yesterday, and said you got a new toy sitting there next to you, and was wondering if I could put you on the spot and get you to play a few chords on your new little ukulele there. I think you're still freezing up though.
You want to try to take him out and bring him
Okay.
back in? See about unfreeze it?
Yeah, your
Absolutely.
camera's completely froze up, Joel. We may have to do a little quick take you out and bring
There
you
you
back in real quick.
Tell me when we're back live.
We got you. Go ahead.
We got your sound.
Got a good signal? Okay. L
Well,
is for the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary. E, it's even more than anything that you adore, and love is all that I can give to you. Love is more than just a game for two.
very good, Joel. I'll tell you what we're probably going to have to do right here. We're probably going to have to take you out of the studio, and you'll have to click back on the hot link and come back in.
How'd we do on that?
Down at the bottom, it says Leave Studio in your dashboard. You see that at the very bottom of your screen?
Yeah, you keep freezing up on us, Joel.
Well, he's been totally froze up since before I asked the last question. So we got your sound, but we don't have any video of you. Or
Bob,
any,
I think I lost you, but I've actually had the privilege the last couple of months to actually teach a group ukulele of 4 or 5 Santas that have been coming to a shop in Grand Prairie, and we just sit. I'm teaching them basic chords, and hopefully it'll help them with their characterization at Christmas.
Yes, we saw some of the photos that Sakitha and Dwight put up, and Mike, and see who else did you have there? I know you had 4 or 5 people that was coming and you was teaching, which is pretty cool. Yeah, we just we don't have any video of you at all.
I've got him, Bob, on video. He's back.
Is he? Okay, well I don't have him, so
Yeah, he's back.
okay. Well, I don't have to see him, so let's continue on then. Let's go on to the next question, Joel.
Okay.
I know you have had the opportunity to work with studio photographers doing mini sessions. Can you tell us about some of the different settings and props used, and how much you learn from the direction of those photographers, those professional photographers, during those mini shoots? Always, direct you and and give you different cues and things of that such. The one prop that I was interested in was the old, I believe it was green pickup truck, maybe 50, 51, 52 model. That was pretty cool. But can you tell us about some of that stuff?
So coming out of not only being a musician, but being a theater person, of course, publicity is part of that mix. And my friends at work always tease me about my my shameless self-promotion. So, as a musician and actor, it was always shameless self-promotion. And I have worked in front of a camera enough to know my way around. When I started as Santa, and that's what's been interesting over the last 3 seasons, I would say more than half of the photographers I've worked with have never done Santa photos before. And especially with the advent of COVID, a lot of the photographers that I worked with that asked me to like shoot minis, they had no conception of what they wanted. They just wanted to try it. And so I would actually offer up things, or we would look at their settings and say, why don't we try this? And they would do the same for me. But that very first year, I was fortunate to work with a photographer that had been working with Santa, Barry, out of Burleson. And he's the one that does Grapevine, Barry Swindoll. And she had worked with him. And so she gave me a lot of coaching. Just at one, we were doing a volunteer session for Embrace Grace. And she gave me some good tips right away. I personally am good with, I guess, any kind of props, if you would. I love the settings that are more sparse, where you see the character of not just Santa, but of the children and the families in there as well. If the picture is pretty much just them, then, if you could capture their imagery, you're capturing them, their presence.
Well, now's the time that our viewers, if you have any questions or comments for Santa JoJo, pop them in here. And what was a couple of tips that the photographer shared with you?
Now, did you ask about some of the cars?
Yes, I did. I was saying that, of course, one of my favorites is the early model. I believe it was a Chevy 50, 51, 52 year model that I had seen some of your photos with. Love that.
Well, so far the cars have been happy accidents. Either they have been at the locations where we've gone to shoot. There was a 64.5 red Mustang at a shot I was at last year, and they allowed us to get in it and take pictures with the kids, and we just had a blast. And again, made things up as we went. And from that, I got a call from owners of the 66 red GTO, and they said, "Well, you can use ours." And they were all almost in that semi-offended, that I hadn't approached them about doing it. I said, well, okay, if you want me to. And from that, I've actually had people contact me with a blue Corvette T-top, and they said, well, you can use our Corvette. I said, okay.
That works out nice. I know one of our eat meets.
Just happy accidents.
Yeah, one of our eat meets that we had here a while back, Santa Larry Jefferson was there, and he drives a little convertible Spitfire with a personalized license plate on it. I saw you out there leaning on it, getting pictures.
Now that was Santa Larry Jefferson's.
Larry Jefferson.
Crossfire.
Correct. Right, Crossfire. I said Spitfire. Crossfire. Correct. Okay, so any of the viewers have any comments or questions for Santa Joel?
Sure.
We got any questions? We'll take them now.
Joel, what was a couple of tips that photographer shared with you?
It was little things, because I think she recognized I'd been in front of a camera before, so I knew when to be looking and when to be present with that as I engaged the children. But some of it was just little activities. We did elf ears and funny faces and different poses with the kids. I'm trying to remember specifics if she helped where, you know, you've got the crying baby, but that may have been where some of the suggestion come up where she said, why don't you do this? Like leave the room, right? And then we'll sneak you back in behind the chair. We'll just sit the kid in the chair and sneak you back in. It's like, okay.
That always works. Scott Parker had a comment for you. He said he tuned in to hear Freebird.
Tell him come out Saturday, and that may be on the list.
Very good. Tommy Gray says, how long has it taken you to get your mustache looking that great, and how do you style it? Well, we were talking about this in the pre-show.
So the beard is at a 2-year plus mark, and the mustache is the same way. I do trim it out. I have a professional do it. I go see her about every 8 weeks, and she just cleans up around my mouth and then trims off the end so that it stays basically this length. What I do after I wash it is I brush it up, and it will curl itself to a certain degree. And then I put in either a dry oil product, or I'll use wax, sometimes a cream wax, and that'll hold it pretty well in place. I will on occasion, like if I'm going out for the day, going ahead and hard wax it and get it into a full curl, and then brush through it right before the event starts, so that it's fuller, because that's just my preference for it to be this fuller size, but then it'll hold the curl shape a little bit more, a tighter curl.
I agree. I don't know if you caught the segment where I showed a little bit of me curling mine with a curling wand, but I always tell folks, be careful, you'll burn yourself with that thing.
Yes.
Well, Joel, you shared some fun and cool stuff with us, and you've really been such a great guest for the Tuesday Night Live show. But before we let you go, will you do us the honor of doing our Santa's point of view for tonight?
I sure will. You know, I didn't think about it until you guys talked to me before, you know, what it was, but it is something that has allowed me to think a lot about, and that is your presence as Santa. And I've had some good conversations with my family about my background and this and how life has changed. When I portrayed Jesus in musicals for churches and I looked a certain way, that's not necessarily what Jesus looked like, right? But it may have been someone's preference or what they thought Jesus looked like. And so every once in a while, you would get someone that would say, you look like Jesus, or you could tell by their conversation with you that it struck a note with them. But for the most part, being Jesus, even out in public, didn't necessarily cause anything. I was just a guy with long hair and a beard. You know, as I know now, the Santa look carries a whole lot more weight than that. And what I've enjoyed about the Santa community, especially being together with more than one Santas, and the children trying to figure that out, is the answer to the question, are you Santa? It's like, well, you never know. Now, with Jesus, it was easy to draw that line. I wasn't. I was an actor that portrayed Jesus. When you are Santa, or when you're carrying that mantle, then you just never know. And it is interesting to walk into a store and to walk into a restaurant or to walk anywhere in a public and recognize that people can see that sometimes immediately. And so it helps you, and it helps me to recognize, first of all, that there's a lot of love that can be exchanged in that. There's a lot of goodwill that can be exchanged in that. And not that I have to behave or act a certain way, but I need to be a certain way. I need to be Santa even when I'm out and I'm not wearing red and I don't have a hat. I need to be that spirit of Christmas with a smile on my face and a gleam in my eye, so that when the public sees that, if that's what they're thinking, that's what they get.
So very true. Very true. Well, brother, we want to thank you for coming on the show and sharing all this great information with us all. It's been our pleasure having you and letting our audience get to know you better. I'm lucky. I've known you since you come into the Santa Brotherhood, and I got to tell you, man, we're quite proud of you here in North Texas.
Thank you so much, and a pleasure talking with you.
And Joel, once again, on behalf of my co-host Santa Bob and Elf Angela, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. Hey, we're planning a end of season show on October the 26th, 2 weeks from now, where we're bringing back this year's guest for a short segment. We'd love to have you drop in for that show.
Absolutely. And next year, mark it, maybe we can go live with the ukulele group one night.
Hey, that would be super cool. I like that idea. And I know Darla's really busy. I approached her up in Branson at the School of Santas, and she said she would like to come on the show, but we would have to try to figure out when would be a good time, and we just hadn't got her on yet. But hey, maybe sometimes we'll have you and her both on. How's that sound?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, everyone. Invite and share others to our weekly Tuesday night live broadcast, where we're here every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Central in the Sat Bob's Live Facebook group, and also the Santa and the Business of Being Santa. And invite them, your friends, to both of our Facebook groups, Sat Bob's Live and Santa and the Business of Being Santa. Reach up there and give us a like, because every time you do that, it helps others see our broadcast. Appreciate you being with us tonight.
That is so true. And I just want to thank everyone. The past 28 weeks has been life-changing for me and Barry and now Elf Angela. It's amazing how you guys support us. The help that we've gotten from Derek Dugan, the help that we've gotten from Spangle and Daisy May. And at the end of the show, I know everybody probably bails out, but take a look at the end roll credits sometimes and support those folks that has reached out and helped us put this show on and helped us with our Sat Bob's classes and things of that nature. Just remember that you can always catch the reruns, the replays of all of our segments, every episode from the very first one. They're cataloged at the top of the Sat Bob's Live page. And you can catch those both on the home group, Santa and the Business Being Santa, and or the Sat Bob's Live. And remember to join us for our next Tuesday Night Live, which will be our big Halloween show. We are so excited about that one. And in the following week for the send-off to the season show, which will be the last show of the year. We're excited for the next 2 weeks. It's going to be a lot of fun. Each week, 7 p.m. Central, same clause time, same clause channel. Thank you so much, and God bless all. Thank you, Barry. Thank you, Santa Jojo. Thank you, Elf Angela.
God bless you all. Remember, we do this. Be claws, we care.
That's correct. Good night, all.